Well, hello and welcome to Shambles FC. This is the Arsenal match review right here on shamblesfc.com. And for this podcast, it's just going to be me because AJ does not have ways of communicating via a computer. So still shout outs to AJ. He will be back with us to do a Champions League review on Tuesday or Wednesday, depending on when we can set this up. So it's just going to be me. So it might be a short podcast, but the EPL is back. Let's get started. We had 2 weeks of no EPL, no football, no Arsenal for that matter. And yes, it is back. I've had some time to sink in that beautiful win, that beautiful Zubimendi goal. That absolutely destroyed Nottingham Forest and Ange Postecoglou's team, who last year Nottingham Forest were actually a pretty decent team. They were really good last season, just missing out on Champions League football. So I was going into this game thinking it's going to be a hard one. But right away, I think, you know what, I'm gonna start with the lineup here. And obviously, there's some notable changes to the lineup. Mosquera being one of them in the back for Saliba, Madueke and Eze coming in on the flanks, Merino coming in for Declan Rice, and what I could only assume was because he was being rested for the Champions League. How good is it to say that we have this depth where you have Merino, who's coming off of a really good international break? He's starting, and I think. I heard that what's his name, Mikel Arteta, saying that Merino came off of a good international break, and henceforth why he started. I think that was my only sort of talking point was Merino. Merino hadn't been good in previous games, and you know. I still wasn't convinced, but I am convinced now. If you think that Merino is not good enough to play in Arsenal, it's completely changed. I've completely changed my mind about how Merino is playing. He was amazing. He was amazing. So I'm going to stop the criticism there because I think it was a really good He played amazing. There's so many. He's playing out there like he was Ronaldinho with the ball. Like, come on. Gyökeres obviously in the middle there, and pretty straightforward. I think the surprise was Merino, Eze and Madueke clearly starting. Madueke for Bukayo Saka and Eze coming in for Martinelli, which I think finally that's what we've been praying out for is just. Martinelli needed to be benched. He needs that competition because he has not been stellar. He has not been very good. And I think that was a good way of going in. So I think we should start off with Eze and Mosquera getting their first starts of the season. And we Saliba? Martinelli? Saka? We did not miss those players one little bit. Now, mind you, obviously those players are still key to Arsenal, but they were not missed. Mosquera came in and dude, buying this kid for 13 million was a steal. He is absolutely so good, calm, composed, strong. I don't think he did any sort of mistake. And he got an 8.0 rating ahead of Gabriel, who got a 7.6. I mean, our back line is pretty solid. Timber, Calafiore, I think they're really good. But, Mosquera coming in, absolutely no fear there. Eze coming in for Martinelli was a warranted and a beautiful sight to see because Eze just played so good. And that goal for Gyökeres, I think that right there is going to be an incredible partnership if Eze can play on the flank, on the left. I hate to say it, man. I think Martinelli's days are numbered. I think Eze will obviously be getting the start ahead of him from now on moving forward, because there's no way. There's absolutely no way that Martinelli comes back into the lineup with Eze playing the way he played. Like, he just is so good, man. Him playing with the ball, his little tricks that pulled off, it was crazy. I think it was great. Madueke, obviously, getting the start again, and he played. Everything was flowing through the right. Like Morato, sorry, had a really tough time playing against Madueke, and I think Arsenal were targeting that right hand side, because they, like, Nottingham Forest played absolutely bad throughout that whole entire right hand side, and everything was flowing. Madueke was doing everything so good. I think the only criticism that people were saying and that I've been hearing is that he's not releasing the ball. And you don't know when he's going to release the ball because he's that tricky, which is a good and a bad thing. But I have nothing to say but good things about Madueke. I think he is a steal coming from Chelsea, and I think it was a reawakening for him, and to getting the nod, just like, Kai Havertz coming from Chelsea. When Kai Havertz wasn't doing very well at Chelsea, and he was always on the bench, and like, he's just reinvented himself. I think this is going to be for Madueke as well, the reinvention of him playing. He's just been so good. And dare I ask the question? I know this is kind of a joke, but Noni Madueke clearly being the best player on the pitch for me, Arsenal's biggest threat coming down the right, through him. Here's a serious question, half serious question I should ask you guys. If Saka is fit, does Noni still start? I know. Just let me know in the comments. Hit me up, whatever. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. I'm being semi-serious there, because Noni Madueke has warranted a talking point about whether he should start or not ahead of Saka, if Saka is fit. Saka is still Saka, obviously. He's the star boy. But Madueke is certainly coming in and asking questions. He is asking questions. And then, of course, the injuries continue to pile on for Arsenal, as Ødegaard fell really hard on his shoulder and had to come off. And it's just not good. It's just not good, honestly, to see that. Ethan Nwaneri came in, did really well. Still obviously young, still needs to, lift his head up a little bit more. There's a couple of runs there that were being done by some of the players. I think Gyökeres was one of them. He just didn't see his head, lifted his head, but still a great player to come in for Ødegaard, who can clearly run the play. And then again, Zubi, where are you? He's scoring goals on you now. Terrible song. Don't come at me. But two fabulous goals. The smallest player on the pitch getting a header goal is crazy. But then not only that screamer of a volley was absolutely insanity. You guys, if you have not seen that, you definitely need to see that, because that was a screamer of a goal. And they were even saying that that's goal of the season. I don't know if it's goal of the season. I think Mark Gahey's goal is a wonderful goal, but Zubimendi is definitely going to be up there. And oh my God, did he ever play? He obviously got man of the match, the highest rating out of any Arsenal player, depending on where you're seeing it, 8.9, 8.5, 9. He was incredible. I've obviously just absolutely stunning. And I don't think he gets the praise that a lot of these players get, because he's not scoring the goals. He's not scoring the big goals. But I think, like I said it before, I think he's going to be the signing of the season for any team. And I still stand by that, even though he didn't have a really good game against Liverpool. But I still think he is going to be the player of the season. Just the way he moves on the pitch was incredible. Two beautifully placed goals. His accuracy, 37 out 44 passes, 84%. He created one chance. His XG was 0.16. If you're into these sort of things, I really don't see it, but you know, I really don't care for the stats, but some people do. He had one interception, one recovery. He won 2 out of 4 aerial battles, which is 50%. That's crazy. He committed one foul, but I don't know, man. To me, he couldn't do no wrong. He was absolutely the player of the match for me. And he just did so well. Sorry, Madueke for me was the player of the match, I should say. Zubimendi was obviously the player of the match for whatever reason that people are giving him, just because of obviously the 2 goals. But Eze, he was amazing. 20 out of 24 passes, 83%. His XG was, what was his XG? 0.06. Shots on target, 2 block shots, 43 touches, 3 touches in the box. He successful dribbles, 3 out of 7, 43%. But that's obviously his first time in an Arsenal jersey. But he won 5 out of 9 ground duels, and he won 100% of all his aerial duels, which was just 1. He was fouled twice. So he did pretty good. I mean, he assisted Gyökeres in that second goal. And that's what Gyökeres needs. Somebody like that to feed the ball in, not think about it, not play it all the way to the touchline, and then that's it. He needs somebody like that, and I think that's what Eze will provide. And them linking up like that right away is going to be absolutely incredible. Going into that, and I'm looking towards. I'm looking forward towards how they're going to link up in the future. And then I mean, Merino, obviously, I'm asking you guys there, what do you guys think of Merino's performance? I think it was really good. I think it was well done, and it was just an exceptional play from him. The tricking, the passing, it was absolutely insane. And I think he's going to be, I think he's just going to come in and do the business. And he's also asking questions ahead of Declan Rice. I know I've seen and heard some people moaning about Declan Rice and his performances. And you know what? Merino could probably fill that void. The way he was playing this game, and mind you, it was against a pretty, depleted Nottingham Forest, and Ange, his first time with them. So obviously they still have time to gel. They need time to gel, I should say. But I think Merino also is asking some questions, just like Noni Madueke. Excuse me. And I think, like me saying Noni Madueke was probably the best player on the pitch, in my opinion. The question that I bring up to you again is if Saka is fit, does Noni Madueke start? Sort of seeing that. But overall, I think the game was good. I think these signings that Arsenal did, and mind you, how many new players, the whole front line, all new players brought in this transfer window. So you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new signings starting for Arsenal. And you still had on the bench Ethan Nwaneri, Miles Lewis-Skelly, Declan Rice, Martinelli, Trossard, Kepa, Ben White, Del Piero, and Max Dowman. What is this? When you have a fully fit team, that's not including William Saliba, Saka, Gabriel Jesus, whether or not he's going to still be here, and Kai Havertz. That is an insane bench. And I was talking to my dad today, and the way he's saying, if Arsenal don't win the league and Arsenal don't win the Champions League, that's crazy that Arteta should go. I don't believe in that. I mean, I think Arsenal, I think Arteta is feeling the pressure. I think he really is feeling pressure right now. And that's why I think he did the signings of Eze, Gyökeres, Madueke, Zubimendi. They're all, those players are within 25 to 30 age range, meaning they're already proven, they're already established players, and they're going to come in and do the business. And I think that's exactly what he's doing. And I think he is feeling the pressure, whether or not you believe what you hear in social media about Josh Kroenke breathing down the neck of Arteta. And, I've given you 200 million to sign these players. you better be doing something with it. I don't believe that's true. I think Arteta has come a long way from what he inherited, and you got to give him time, man. In a footballing world that is now pretty much gone in terms of the long-standing managers, your Arsene Wenger's, your Sir Alex Ferguson's, hell, Jose Mourinho's, Ancelotti's. That's not. It's not that anymore. People are quick to judge, and I think, given the example of Nottingham Forest, where they had Espiritu Santo last season, who was doing wonders for that club, and now Ange comes along. Oh, they get rid of Nuno, and Ange comes along, and now pretty much Forest is in shambles. Mind you, they're owned by a freaking mafioso guy, and that guy is like straight up shady. Like, he wouldn't let Morgan Gibbs White leave. He held held him in place to do that sort of crazy crazy press conference. But you know what? I think for your Peps that are still been with Manchester City for so long, now you can even put Arteta on there. I don't know. I'd like to see. I think maybe Arteta is the second longest standing manager next to Pep Guardiola now, because I think every Premier League club now has had a new manager coming in the last 10 years, something new every time. Like, look at Spurs, right? They had Ange, and now they with Thomas Frank. And I still think that Mikel Arteta can take this team over the line because of the signings that have come in, whether that's him or whether that's the backroom staff or whether that's Josh Kroenke. Obviously, we don't know the inner workings of the club, but I think this is what separates Arsenal from the last 3 seasons, that coming second place, twice to Manchester City, and last year to Liverpool. And mind you, what was it, within 3 points the first time, 1 point or 2 points the second time with City, and then Liverpool by 10. But that was just Liverpool running away with it. We had some really terrible games as well, and that is the difference maker, I think, right now, where we have quality players coming in that can do a role. Like I said, and everybody was saying, Saliba, Saka, hell, even Declan Rice, they were not missed. They were not missed. These guys came in here, Eze, Madueke, Mosquera. They came in and put on a shift. And some of you may say, well, what Jacob Kivior could have been. But he's not a Mosquera, bro. I think Mosquera is massive. He's a beast. He's fit. And he just looks so comfortable back there with Gabriel. I just, and mind you, yes, okay, it's Nottingham Forest. Put them against your Liverpools and Cities, and they will, right? They'll be put to the test against City. But I think this is what separated Arsenal from those previous seasons of coming in second, and I think this could potentially put them over the hump and win the Premiership. I really do. I'm still skeptical because Liverpool are dangerous, and it shows today when they beat Burnley again. Late goal FC is what I'm calling them. But anyways, that's here nor there. We'll talk about that on the weekly wrap-up show on Thursday. But I think Arsenal can go the distance with these players. And that is the biggest change from the previous seasons. We have not had players that can come in. If an injury occurs, like we've had already an injury crisis already in the first 4 games of the season with Saliba, Saka, Kai Havertz all getting injured again. We didn't have anybody. We had youngsters. We had Trossard. We didn't have the quality. We had MLS. We had Ethan Nwaneri. But now, look, Declan Rice is on the bench, and Merino is coming in and putting in the work. I think he's had his first full season with Arsenal, and now he's coming in and he's actually doing it. But Eze, Madueke, and Mosquera, I think, are going to put us over the line. I hope that that's the case, because that's what we need. I think that's what we were missing. Gyökeres too. I didn't even talk about Gyökeres, but I think Gyökeres is coming into his own. He needs to gel more with the team. I think it has to do with fitness as well, which is why, he still needs time to gel with the team. And I think people are quick to jump to conclusions. But I saw pretty much a big portion of the game against City and Manchester United. And Benjamin Šeško, they didn't even do much. That's, mind you, he wasn't given the service. But that's another question I want to put out to you guys. Did we lock out? Did we luck out with Gyökeres as opposed to Benjamin Šeško? Šeško hasn't, opened up his account, but Gyökeres, he's I think he's going to be good. He's the strongest player according to EAFC, depending on how you say that. But there was a one point where he went through again against two defenders and he brushed them off like it was nothing. He just needs time, and I think Eze coming in on that flank, I think those two are going to gel. You are going to see that's going to be very, very good partnership, I'm hoping. And then Madueke just adds that extra attack, but he looks so natural on that right hand. And I think that's what it's going to take to get Arsenal over the hump. Honestly, I think that's what that's what it's going to take to get them over the hump. And now we look forward to, the first game of the Champions League season with Arsenal going to Athletic Club, Estadio de San Memes. Yeah, I don't know. And they're going to be facing a depleted Athletic Club team as well, and big names in Nico Williams, who apparently is late September. He has a muscle injury. He probably won't be playing. Bernat Paredes, Inigo Luque, and Unai Igulitis, I don't know how to pronounce that, will still probably won't have Saliba. Ødegaard, we don't know the extent. I might be wrong. He could be back. Kai Havertz, Jesus, obviously, that guy's been gone for like 14 years. But Bukayo Saka, hamstring. Athletic Club, they've won their last 3 games. They've lost their last 2 games against Osasuna and Deportivo. And then we've only had the one loss against Liverpool. So we're coming in here with a better run of games than we do. A better run of games than they are. So it should be really good to see. I'm still thinking that Arsenal are going to win this, but then again, you never know. It's away, and I'm just hoping that Arsenal can come away with the win. A win starting the season is going to be incredible. But hey, you know what? We have to have faith. We don't have Saka. We don't have Saliba. These players that have come in can do the work, can put in the shift, and actually do pretty well. That front line is completely brand new for Arsenal, and it worked so well. All of those players got an 8+ rating. That's insane. And they're playing for the first time together in Premier League. So that has to say something, right? So I think Arsenal have a really good chance to win against Athletic Club and get the Champions League season off to a great start. But I will have that. I will have that, and I will have that review with you guys with AJ on Tuesday night after we watch the game. We shall go ahead and review that. So this is just a quick and easy pod, just the match review against Nottingham Forest, which is so good, and we will be back to talk to you guys on Tuesday. To talk about hopefully a win against Athletic Club. You can find everything on shamblesfc.com. We are on Twitter, Shambles FC Pod. We're on YouTube, so go check us out on YouTube as well. Give us a follow or subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know your comments to the questions that I've asked you guys. If Saka is fit, does Noni start? What did you guys think of Eze and Mosquera's first start? And how did you rate Merino's performance? I'm really curious to see your guys' takes. And if you have any questions or anything like that you want to ask on the podcast, do ask us those questions, whether it's on the website where you can comment on the post, or on Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it. We're on Blue Sky as well. We're on TikTok as well. Give us a follow there on TikTok. And yeah, aside from that, have yourselves a great rest of the weekend, guys. We will talk to you after Arsenal's match against Athletic Club on Tuesday, and then we will have the weekly wrap-up show on Thursday, where we talk not just about Arsenal but more of the Premier League, because there's been a lot of shock matches that have happened this week, and we'll talk about like other little tad bits on there. So stay tuned and stick around for that. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Have yourselves a great rest of the weekend, and we'll talk to you guys on Tuesday. Peace.